Yo, what's up, guys? So as I'm a few weeks into my cut and starting to see the fruits of my labor, starting to see myself get a fair amount leaner. I think I'm around 12 to 14% body fat right now. I just want to share some basic tips that I have for getting lean, my best advice. Obviously, I'm not like absolutely shredded right now, but I have been very lean in the past. Definitely below 10% body fat, and honestly as lean as like 5 to 7% body fat at my absolute leanest. So today I'm just gonna be giving you guys some basic tips and advice to help you get lean for the summer. I know it kind of already is the summer, but to get you leaner for wherever your deadline is or whatever, guys. So my first tip would be caffeine is your friend. Don't be afraid of caffeine. I mean, caffeine's gonna do a lot of different stuff. It's gonna reduce appetite, which is huge for a cut. It's gonna increase metabolism. And also just think about this, guys. If you consume like 300 milligrams of caffeine, you're not gonna wanna just sit there and do nothing. You're gonna wanna exercise. So it's like, it's giving you the juice so that you can use it. You know what I mean, guys? Like once you consume that caffeine, you're gonna wanna do something with it. And it's almost gonna motivate you to exercise. Not to mention reduce appetite, increase metabolism. So I would recommend, honestly, anywhere from 200 to 600 milligrams of caffeine. 600 if you have a high tolerance of caffeine and you've been using caffeine for a while, and 200 if you're very new to it or maybe have like a low tolerance for it. But yeah, anywhere from 200 to 600 milligrams I think is a pretty good dose of caffeine. Another tip I have for you guys is intermittent fasting. I'm a huge believer in intermittent fasting. It's just going to reduce the eating window, and I do believe it's kind of going to reduce food noise because you're not going to be thinking about food as much. Honestly, guys, I have a pretty small waist, as you can tell, and I feel like part of the reason for that is intermittent fasting because, I'm not constantly filling my waist with food or my stomach with food. It's going to keep you leaner for sure. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to increase testosterone levels and human growth hormone levels naturally. So yeah, intermittent fasting is great, guys. I would highly recommend it. So we got caffeine, we got intermittent fasting. Also get your steps in. A lot of people talk about this. I agree with it. I would recommend anywhere from 10K to 20K steps if you can get that in, but try to get at least like 8 to 10K steps in. That'll be about 4 to 5 miles of walking throughout the day. Try to get 8 to 10 miles, 8 to 10K steps, bare minimum, like around 10K. And once you get to 15,000 steps a day, that's a pretty good rate of fat loss. 20,000, I'd say, is the upper limit where you're really gonna start to see yourself get lean and stuff from 20,000 steps a day. And another thing I would recommend is some form of intense exercise or intense cardio. Here's a great metaphor to think about, guys. Think about fat loss like grating cheese. When you're grating cheese, you need to apply a good amount of pressure against the cheese grater to get the cheese to grate. Think about that like fat loss. Like you're not gonna, if you're 20 or 30% body fat, you're not gonna lose a lot of fat by just walking casually. You need to apply that pressure like you're grating cheese. You need to put the pedal to the metal and really grade the cheese and get lean. Think about like fat loss like grating cheese. So that's why I believe you need a few or at least one type of intense exercise, whether it's running, whether it's deadlifts, squats, bench press, push-ups, sprinting, biking, swimming, weightlifting in general, machine exercises, whatever the case may be. If you're pretty fat, walking is most likely alone not going to make the transformation because it's simply not enough pressure. You're not applying enough pressure and intensity to make a substantial, noticeable transformation in your physique. Now, another piece of advice I would recommend for fat loss would be NoFap, guys. I've just noticed the longer I'm on a NoFap streak, I just tend to get leaner for a variety of different reasons. Increases testosterone, most likely increases metabolism. And another thing I've noticed is just the cravings and food noise goes down a lot when I'm on NoFap. And I feel like the reason for that, like I talked about, is if you're increasing discipline in one area of your life, it's likely going to translate over to increasing discipline in other areas of your life, such as, eating less and not getting as many cravings and stuff. So for the testosterone boost, the increased motivation to work out from NoFap, and just to reduce his cravings, I've really noticed a reduction in cravings and not wanting to have cheat meals. I'd recommend NoFap, guys. I know a lot of guys don't buy into that. They think it's bullshit. They think, oh bro, why are you telling me to no fap? But the results speak for themselves, guys. I am noticing so many results 20 days in on no fap. Can't recommend it enough. So what we got here: caffeine, steps, no fap, intermittent fasting. What else can I recommend you guys? Just push-ups. Do a lot of push-ups throughout the day. You know, push-ups is really gonna transform your physique. You know, it's kind of gonna build muscle and burn fat at the same time. I find push-ups is more so gonna burn fat than build muscle because most people can do quite a lot of push-ups. Each individual rep is not that much of a challenge on your muscles, but it's more so for fat loss, like getting in, you know, 50, 80, 100 push-ups for 5 or 10 sets a day. You're really gonna start to see your physique transform. You're gonna build muscle, get a little tighter, a little leaner, more ripped, and burn fat. Like, you guys might believe this, but I believe push-ups actually does burn a little fat in your midsection. Like, I can not only feel it in my chest, shoulders, and triceps, but I also feel it in my core a little bit. Like, the more I do push-ups, my core gets more tight and ripped and lean, and my waist gets smaller over time. But to really, you know, reap the benefits of doing push-ups, you got to do a lot of them, at least a couple hundred on most days. Like, I'm not just talking one set of 20 or one set of 30 or one set of 40 and that's all you do. That's not going to be enough to realistically cause a noticeable transformation, guys. Don't be delusional. You got to do a good amount. You got to do like at least 200, 300, 400, 500 push-ups if you really want to see a change in your physique, like a transformation. But if you're doing 300 to 500 push-ups like 5 days a week, you will get the physique you're looking for. It will burn fat, build muscle, just give you the right proportions. So yeah, those are my tips, guys. That's my advice for fat loss. Hope this helps. That's about it. It's about all I got for you today. And give it a try and let me know how it works. Have a good one, guys. God bless.